Hi there. I recently got to see a really cool collection of naval warfare antiques, and this one here in particular I loved, so I'm going to do a real brief video on it. These are, as you can probably tell, different types of cannonballs, as if you couldn't tell by the title of the video. But I think these are really awesome. They're all the real deal, recovered from the bottom of the ocean, and it gives a good overview of the various types. Now, this is definitely not my area of expertise, so please keep that in mind, but I thought it was still worth doing, just because they're so awesome, really, to look at. So let's take a look at one example up close here. This is a bar shot. Not hard to tell how it got its name, right? Just looks like kind of a dumbbell, and it's a bar with two weights on the end. It's kind of surprising that they're not spherical, but they're not. And the idea here is this thing tumbles end over end, and when it crashes into an opposing mast, it's going to break it, immobilizing that ship, and if you're trying to get away from, say, pirates, that's going to be a real problem. I remember learning about this kind back in freshman year high school history class. Which is really funny to walk up and see it and remember that. But it looks great too. Just I've seen a lot of things dredged up from the bottom of the ocean. This one has a really cool effect because of the corrosion. And here's an up close of that because I thought it was really awesome. And maybe I'm the only kind of person who likes to just stare at something like this, but probably not. And it's just amazing. So I think it probably looks even better than it did when it was made, only because of the accidental effect of the corrosion. Up next here is a chain shot. Very similar concept, as you can tell, right? We've got the kind of the two cannonballs with a connection, but it's more of a flexible one. And still, it's going to tumble end over end. It's going to catch things. This could rip lines that it runs into, certainly, right? Or just shred those. You can shred an opposing sail. And again, you're looking at kind of immobilizing the opposing ship. And I love the detail on the actual, ball spherical portion there. Just fantastic. And these are not very big. Get a better view of it there, but you could hold this in one hand, and if you think of like a cartoon version of a cannonball, you always think of it being large, but they'd be small enough to handle and fire out at high velocity. So this one's the coolest one that they had. This is a bar shot, but it's basically kind of an extending one. So this is really neat. I didn't know these existed. Once it shoots out, this thing's going to extend, right, because of that sleeve. You see the sleeve there, and so it's going to maximize the distance that it expands, so greater chance of striking something. And here's another view of the same thing. Again, that just great, finish patina on this thing from sitting down in the salt water. And you can see the kind of simple yet very clever mechanism, right, that gives it its effectiveness. Now, this is the cannonball that was right behind the interlocking mechanism we were just seeing. This is the only place I could get close to it, the only angle, so you can't see the fuse hole. This is an exploding shell, right, grenade or granado, and it's a pretty simple concept, right? It arrives on the other side, explodes, and causes all kinds of mayhem. So, same concept used in exploding rounds today. And here's just a view of the whole collection. It was really neat, just walking up to it. Again, not my area of expertise, but the second I walked up to it, I had flashbacks from history class just decades ago. So that was really neat. And, whenever you see a movie set in these times and see them firing cannonballs, now you know they're not just, simple, solid shots meant to bust up the opposing ships. Thanks.